Hello there, I'm Peter Tsai, the Systems Management Evangelist for Dell Tech Center. In today's demo, we're going to look at a new feature of the M1000e, one-to-many blade server firmware updates through the Chassis Management Controller version 3.2. To update the CMC firmware to the latest version, we first log into the interface and go to Server Overview and then the Update tab. In the CMC firmware section, simply tick the boxes under Update Targets and press the Apply CMC Update button. From there, you'll need to browse to the CMC 3.2 firmware image that you downloaded from support.dell.com. I extracted the files from this image, and I'm going to point the CMC interface to the file firmwareimage.cmc. This file is then transferred over to the CMC, which most of us know is a hardware module in the back of the blade chassis. After the file transfers over, the update process takes another few minutes, and eventually, since we're logged into the CMC interface through a browser right now, during the update process, we'll get kicked out because the update process needs to complete. You'll have to log back into the CMC controller, and from there you should be able to view in that same menu that we're now updated to version 3.2. So to verify, we go to the Chassis Overview section and the Update tab again, and we can see that we're now on version 3.21 on both the active CMC and the backup CMC on standby. Now that our CMC is up to date, we can explore our new feature, which is the one-to-many update. So on the update page, you can see each individual blade server, and under each blade server, we have the components that we can update through this interface. For example, you can update the BIOS, your iDRAC, your Lifecycle controller, PERT cards, or network interface controllers. Going forward in this demo, I'm going to show a one-to-many update of the Lifecycle controller across a couple of the blades in the system. At the top, we can filter by component type. Since we're updating the Lifecycle controller, I click on Lifecycle controller at the top, then select two of these blade servers to update. I browse to the Dell update package that I downloaded from support.dell.com. We can point straight to the exe file that I downloaded for Windows. Through the Lifecycle controller, the CMC is able to communicate with devices without going through an operating system. This bare metal or out-of-band update process ensures that you can update your server no matter what OS you're running or even if the server is off. Out-of-band updates are important to systems administrators because no reboot is required on your server, which might be hosting a very important application that can't be interrupted. We just saw a dialog box say that we've successfully scheduled an update to the Lifecycle controllers, and now under the Job Status section here, we'll see that the download of the image is underway. After waiting just a little bit for the download and out-of-band update process to finish up, we hit refresh here, and then we scroll down to see that the update had indeed taken place. We're going to filter again on the Lifecycle controller so that we only see the Lifecycle controller devices in this chassis. And zooming in, we can see that all of the versions now have been updated to 1.5. Now let's take a look at some other features. Thanks to the Lifecycle controller, in addition to updates, we can also roll back to previous versions of the firmware. Rollbacks are performed by checking on the box next to the previous version number and then going to the bottom and clicking Rollback. We also have the ability to reinstall the current version of the driver if we want. That's also accomplished by checking a box next to the current version and clicking on the Reinstall button at the bottom. If we want to update, roll back to a previous version, or reinstall the current version of a BIOS, it requires a reboot. The dialog box here says that we can perform the restart now or schedule a boot later. We don't really want to do either of those right now, so I'll click Cancel. I do want to take this opportunity now, though, to show you the Lifecycle Controller Jobs page, which is new, and it shows you the queue of scheduled updates that are about to occur, and we can also go back and either delete those jobs if we don't want them to occur, and we can purge the queue as well. So we can see that there's no scheduled jobs right now. You might notice at the bottom in slots 9 and 10 that there's no response from the server. This is because this new feature is only supported on 11G servers, so it's not supported on the M600. To show you how to manage jobs on the new Lifecycle Controller Jobs page, we're now going to schedule a rollback of the BIOS on one of the blades to a previous version. As I said before, to perform this task, you check on the box next to the previous version of the BIOS, and then go to the bottom right corner to click Rollback. I don't want to perform the rollback right away, so when the first dialog box pops up, I hit Cancel. On the next screen, you can see that it asks if I want to automatically schedule an update on the next reboot. I do, so I'll click OK. Going back to the Lifecycle Controller Jobs page through the Troubleshooting tab, and then clicking on Lifecycle Controller Jobs, I'm able to see that the rollback that I just scheduled for server 8 is present. I don't really want to do this, I just set it up for demo purposes. So to delete this job, I simply check the box there, and then run a delete operation and click Apply. In closing, we hope you enjoy this new update functionality in the Chassis Management Controller version 3.2. Hopefully it makes your life a little bit easier. One final point, in order for your blade servers to be updated in a one-to-many fashion by the CMC, there are some minimum system requirements. You'll have to have at least an 11G server, and you'll have to update your BIOS, Lifecycle Controller, and iDRAC in that order to the latest versions. Until then, your blade systems will not support the latest feature. We hope you enjoyed this video on the new feature in the CMC 3.2, and as always, go to delltechcenter.com for more enterprise IT information.